All right, let's dive into something really deep, a mystical teaching that gets to the very core of our purpose. I mean, what if you found out you were on a secret mission? And what if you'd already been given a hidden treasure, like an ultimate weapon to make sure you couldn't fail?
So it all kicks off with this really strange parable. I want you to picture a king, okay? And this king has a treasure so priceless, it's literally kept under 7 locks. Now, why on earth would he take that treasure and just hand it over to his regular soldiers, the ones fighting in the mud on the front lines? It sounds crazy, right? But the answer to that question, it's the key to absolutely everything.
You see, this wasn't just some random generous gift. No way. This was a calculated, strategic move in a war that seemed impossible to win. On the surface, it looks completely wasteful, right? But it was actually the king's secret plan for total, undeniable victory. And you have to understand the sheer value of this treasure. We are not talking about a pile of gold coins here. These are heirlooms, priceless gems passed down through generations. They're so precious the king doesn't even show them off. They are the essence of the kingdom's entire history and wealth, completely locked away from the world. And then, a war breaks out. A really fierce, terrible war, where all of a sudden, victory is in doubt. So the king does the unthinkable. He goes to those secret vaults, opens them up, and gives everything away. And get this, not to his top generals, but to the ordinary foot soldiers. Why? Because this wasn't a war for land or for plunder. This was a war for the very soul of the kingdom, and only an act this radical could guarantee the final win. So, what is this impossible war we're talking about? Well, it's happening right now. The battleground is our physical world, this very reality we live in. And the prize? It's about bringing the divine presence, which is currently in a state of exile, back home where it belongs. And this divine presence has a name. It's called the Shekinah. Now, the Shekinah, that's the aspect of God that actually dwells within creation. It's the part of the infinite that wants to make a home right here with us. You could say it's that tangible feeling of holiness you sometimes get in the world. And wow, this divine presence has had a long and pretty traumatic journey. See, in the very beginning, it was fully present, right here on Earth. But through a series of, let's call them spiritual missteps, it retreated. Step by step, it went all the way up to this metaphorical 7th heaven, and then began the long, slow journey back down. Great leaders like Avraham and Yitzchak, they started the process, bringing it down one level at a time. And this continued until finally Moshe, he brought it all the way back down to Earth to dwell in the Mishkan, that portable sanctuary they had in the desert. And this whole story, it reveals such a profound truth. God's deepest desire isn't to be distant, off in some faraway heaven. It's to be right here. I've come back to my garden. That garden is us. It's this physical world. This was always meant to be the home for the divine. It's the whole point of creation, right from the very beginning. Okay, so how do we actually do it? How do we build that home? Well, it requires something that can only be described as a kind of holy insanity. It means we have to take the apparent nonsense of our material world and literally forge it into a sanctuary. So to pull this off, we have to understand 2 kinds of folly, or in Hebrew, shtut. First, there's the folly of the world itself, that feeling that everything is just random, material chaos that completely hides anything holy. But then there's what's called shtut de kedusha, a holy folly, and this is a commitment that goes way beyond logic. It's an almost insane belief that our job is to reveal godliness precisely within that chaos. And that right there, that is our mission. Think about this. The wood they used to build the Mishkan, the holy sanctuary, was called shittim wood. And that name is linguistically connected to the word shtut, folly. Isn't that incredible? Our job is to take the seemingly meaningless stuff of life, the folly, and transform it into the sacred beams that hold up a holy space. This whole mission, this grand project, it has a name. It's called Dira B'Taktonim. And what that means is building a dwelling place for God in the lowest of all worlds. And we're not talking about a temporary visit. We're talking about a permanent home for God's very essence, right here, in this messy, complicated physical reality of ours. That's it. That's the ultimate goal of all creation. Okay, so if that's the mission, what about that king's treasure we started with? What are those ultimate weapons he gave us to get the job done? Well, it turns out they're hidden in the most unexpected place imaginable, right in plain sight. I mean, just think about it for a second. If God wanted to give us his deepest secrets to win this cosmic war, where would he hide them? You'd think maybe in some super complex philosophical texts.
Or in mystical visions that only a few special people could ever have?
Nope. The answer actually comes from another amazing story. This one is from the great mystic, the Baal Shem Tov. And it's the parable of a prince who was sent far, far away from home by his father, the king.
So this prince, he was gone for so long, and he was in such a foreign land that he just completely assimilated. He totally forgot what the palace even looked like. He forgot his father's face. He even forgot how to speak his own royal language. He was completely and utterly lost. Does that sound familiar at all?
The king sent minister after minister to try and bring him home, but every single one of them failed. Why? Because they all spoke the royal language, which the prince just didn't understand anymore. But finally, one wise minister had a brilliant idea. He took off all his fancy royal robes, put on simple, everyday clothes, and he learned to speak the local dialect. He met the prince on his own level, earned his trust, and only then could he start to gently remind him of who he really was, and finally bring him home. You see, this parable is the perfect key to unlock everything. The king, of course, is God. The lost prince, well, that's us, our souls, kind of lost and distant in this material world. And that wise minister, that's the Torah. But here's the crucial part. The Torah's most powerful tool isn't the lofty, complex laws. It's the simple disguise. It's the earthly stories and parables that meet us exactly where we are.
And that is the king's hidden treasure. Those priceless gems we talked about, they aren't abstract, intellectual concepts. The deepest, most powerful divine light is clothed within the simplest narratives, the most tangible actions that might even seem mundane. This is how the infinite reaches down into our finite world. And this is our ultimate weapon.
Which brings us to the final part of this. And honestly, it's the most empowering piece of the whole puzzle. Because this isn't just some ancient story we're telling, this is your cosmic inheritance. And it means the victory is quite literally in your hands.
Just think about this for a second. For over 3,338 years, ever since the Torah was given at Sinai, a vast spiritual treasure has been building up. Every single good deed, every prayer, every act of kindness from every person, in every generation, it has all added to this incredible spiritual capital.
And now, right now, in our time, which the mystics actually call the final generation of this whole struggle, the king has thrown open the vault. He has taken that entire unimaginable treasure and entrusted it to us, to you and me, the simple soldiers on the front line, because we're the ones who are here to finally win the war.
So the question for each of us isn't abstract anymore. It's intensely personal. I mean, just look at your own day, your own life. What piece of worldly shut, that seeming nonsense or meaninglessness, what piece of that are you going to transform today? What simple, tangible act can you do that will become another sacred beam for that final, permanent sanctuary? The choice and the power to do it is all yours.